So, picture this. A tiny kingdom in the Himalayas is about to take this massive gamble on its future. We're talking about Bhutan and their wild plan to build what they're calling a mindful megacity, completely from the ground up.
But here's the thing. We gotta start with a real paradox. I mean, we all think of Bhutan as the super happy place, right? The land of gross national happiness. But what if that whole picture is actually hiding a huge crisis? A crisis so big, it's pushing all of its talented young people to pack up and leave.
Yeah, for ages, Bhutan has had this reputation. It's like the world's last Shangri-La, this perfect little paradise. But look, if you scratch just beneath that calm, beautiful surface, you find that the land of the Thunder Dragon is dealing with a super modern, very real problem.
This is a place that is deeply, deeply rooted in its traditions and its Buddhist faith. And their whole approach to, well, everything is guided by this incredible idea called gross national happiness. The idea is simple. Well-being comes before profits. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? Like, literally perfect. Okay, so here's the reality check, a big one. Youth unemployment, it's shot up to a jaw-dropping 29%. And think about this, half the people in Bhutan are under 27. So this isn't just some number on a chart. No way. This is a full-blown crisis.
And look, this isn't just me saying it. The country's own prime minister, Chering Tobgai, he's come out and said it's unacceptably high. So the people at the very top, they know. They know they've got a huge problem to solve.
So what happens when there are no jobs? Well, the consequences are pretty stark. We're seeing a massive brain drain. Last year alone, 15,000 people left. 15,000. For a country with a population of just over 700,000, that is a huge number. It's an exodus of their best and brightest, and it's only getting faster.
But Bhutan's king, who is deeply respected, he has an answer. And let me tell you, it is not a small, timid plan. He's announced something massive, a brand new megacity, a kind of 21st century Shangri-La. They're calling it the Galeifu Mindfulness City.
Now, don't think this is just another cookie-cutter smart city. No. The vision here is something else entirely. It's about creating a place where high-tech meets ancient tradition. Like, imagine a future where you have advanced semiconductor plants right alongside workshops doing traditional wood carvings. And it gets even wilder. The dream is to have a city where AI, artificial intelligence, actually learns from the wisdom of ancient Buddhist scriptures. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's a truly mind-bending idea. And the scale of this thing, it's just huge. We're talking about an area over 1,000 square kilometers. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire nation of Singapore. It's all going to be powered by green energy. It'll have special economic rules to cut the red tape and bring in money. And they're planning these incredible designs, like actual inhabitable bridges. The whole point of all this? Stop the brain drain. And maybe, just maybe, bring the world's brightest minds to Bhutan. So the big question is, right? How do you build something this massive and modern without, selling your soul? Well, Bhutan's answer is pretty radical. They want to completely redefine what growth even means. They're saying, yeah, we'll do capitalism, but we're going to make it mindful. And this all circles back to that core idea we talked about, gross national happiness. It was never about rejecting money or growth. It was always about making sure that any growth serves something bigger, the happiness of the people, the strength of their culture, and the health of the planet. So let's break that down. Regular capitalism is all about more profit, endless growth. But this mindful capitalism they're talking about, it's different. It still allows for growth, sure, but it's always looking for balance. The ultimate goal, the way they measure success, isn't just how much money you have. It's how well everyone is doing. That's a huge mental shift. Okay, so that's the grand vision. It's beautiful, it's ambitious, but what's actually happening on the ground? Well, this is where the dream starts bumping up against some pretty tough, real-world challenges. A journalist who was just there painted a pretty bleak picture. They talked about walking through empty halls and bare buildings. It really drives home the point, The dream is huge, but the city itself, well, it just isn't there yet. And the hurdles are pretty big. For starters, construction hasn't even started. And you need money for a project like this, right?
Well, so far, no big foreign investors have signed on the dotted line. Even the officials are saying, hey, it's still early days. So, yeah, it's a very long way from a cool-looking drawing to an actual breathing city.
So what you're seeing here is Bhutan's incredible billion-dollar balancing act. It's a high-stakes gamble to fix a really serious crisis. But it also forces us to ask that huge question. Can you really dive headfirst into modernity without losing the very traditions that make you special?
In this chart, this is from Bhutan's own finance ministry. It really shows you why the pressure is on. Even in their best case scenarios, they're predicting youth unemployment is going to stay sticky high, stuck around 20% for the next few years. So the need for this city to work, it's huge, because that core problem, the one that started this whole thing, it's not going anywhere on its own.
You know, a local business owner, a restaurateur, she kind of summed up the whole dilemma perfectly. She basically said, it's sad to think we might have to lose a part of ourselves to grow. That's it right there. That's the painful choice that so many people in Bhutan are facing as they think about what comes next. And that leaves us with the big final question. Bhutan is basically betting its entire future on one idea, that you can have progress and preservation, that you don't have to choose. The whole world is going to be watching to see if they can actually pull this off. So, what do you think? Is it possible to build a futuristic utopia without losing the very soul that makes a place unique?